What's up, guys? Iceman here. Welcome to the Diablo Research Institution. So, of course, there's a lot of news regarding the upcoming expansion for Diablo 4, and DM just posted this video to kind of recap it or whatever. So let's check it out. I'm going to link his channel in the description of this video, and I'm pretty excited for the expansion. The mercenaries look okay. I'm not all that interested in the new aesthetic, but Season 5 has been a good time, so I think the expansion is going to be Season 5 and more. So that's basically why I want to get it. I know it's not saying much, but let's see what it has to offer.
Last night, Blizzard dropped information related to the mercenaries. This morning, we got a much larger write-up about the information related to the expansion update, everything from Mercenaries, Dark Citadel, Party Finder, level cap update, and more. So let me give you the highlights. First thing you're going to notice right here, newfound companions across Sanctuary using the Party Finder tool. So there will be a way in-game to actually find other players to group with. We'll talk about why they're adding this here in just a moment. Also, there are murmurs of progression updates looming ahead, permanently changing leveling across Diablo 4. We saw some sort of, I don't know if it was a leak or just a teaser, but basically you could see that it looks like level 60 might be the new cap.
Yeah, I hope that's the case.
Related to Diablo 4.
Right now, the way that leveling is, at first they were trying to make it like it was a hard thing to get to 100, right, to max level. But what they've been doing lately is they've been making it easier and easier and easier to get there. So at this point, I'm like, well, let's just cut to the chase, because now it's just tedious. And I just am anxious to get to level 85 so I can find the 925 gear. So everything else is just kind of a waste of time. I wonder if they can enhance how fast our alternate characters can level or something like that. But I think 60 is a good idea for a cap. Because getting to 100 is really just a pain in the ass. You know, it's just annoying. There's no crown of achievement because basically you can get there in like 10 hours or something. So it's not like what it was in Diablo 2 where it took a lot of commitment to get there and it was like a crown of achievement. Now it's like, everybody gets the trophy, but it's going to take you like 10 fucking hours and it's going to be tedious and annoying. So yeah, let's just cut to the chase at this point. But let me know what your thoughts are on that in the comments below. But 60 is a good idea, I think, for level cap for now.
Or instead of level 100, and there will be Paragon levels, etc. above that. Now, there are mercenaries coming to the game. There are 4 different ones. Basically, you're going to have a variety depending upon what you're trying to accomplish.
So the mercenaries, aesthetically, I think they're ugly. All right? I wish that they would give us visually appealing characters. But I guess at this point, that's just too much to fucking ask. But beyond that, it might be interesting trying them out. I know that they said that they want to make the mercenaries so that they supplement your build, kind of like what we had in Diablo 2, where if you were a certain type of sorceress, for example, you'd want insight on your mercenary to get all that mana regen, or if you were a certain type of Amazon or sorceress or whatever the hell else, you'd want an infinity to break immunities. You'd get things with prayer aura on them, things like that. So I mean, thorns, defensive auras, you know, holy freeze, just all that shit. You'd implement on your mercenary. And I thought they did mercenaries a lot better in Diablo 2 than what they did with Diablo 3. Diablo 3, they weren't even that helpful, were they? Their damage was complete shit, and they just weren't that helpful. And that's the thing about Diablo 4. Just one concern that I have is we're working with such large numbers here, damage in like the billions, right? Where it's going to be hard to scale that correctly, where either they're going to be underpowered or overpowered. But with that being said, to my understanding, they have like a utility mercenary. Some of them have utility skills. They can make enemies vulnerable for you and things like that. Distract them, taunt them, I don't know. But let's see what else he has to say about it.
You have like the shield bearer, which looks obviously some type of protection person.
Tank.
You have like a berserker here as well,
DPS.
Which is, I'm guessing, DPS, like melee DPS. You have the cursed child, which look like ranged DPS or mage DPS.
Little fire motherfucker.
And then there's your drunken archer, your ranged DPS. Archer. So you got a range, a mage, a warrior, and then like a protector.
Yep.
It looks like the mercenaries themselves also have their own.
Yeah, check that out. That's awesome. Yeah, a little bit of customization here. I mean, not a ton. And I was kind of hoping they'd keep it simple for starters. And it definitely looks like that they're doing that. So here's the skill selection for the mercenaries. I don't know if we can level these up. Looks like they have available points, or if they're just like 1 point. You probably can level them up, would be my guess. But, and I wonder what their gear selection is like. Like in Diablo 2, they didn't have the gear selection that your character would have. Mercenaries in Diablo 2 could only have a helmet, a body armor, and a weapon. And in some cases, a shield, like with the Act 3 mercenary. But with Diablo 3, to my understanding, they had like a full inventory. You could put rings on them, belts on them, gloves, boots, or whatever else they had in Diablo 3, pants. But yeah, I wonder what their inventory is going to look like.
Small version of a skill tree here you can see. This is also interesting. There's something called a reinforcement, which is you have your main mercenary that follows you around. Then you have a reinforcement mercenary that comes in based upon a trigger in the game.
What the fuck?
One of the abilities that person has. So you sort of have like your main guy, then you have your call-in, almost like a fighting game. If you're familiar how you can have somebody come into like a perform a move, for instance. In order to level up your mercenaries and acquire their skills, you're going to need to level something called rapport. Looks somewhat similar to reputation systems we've had before. And there will be mercenary related events.
Like this video if you guys will, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the page.
Called Pel Marks, which is going to allow you to purchase items for your mercenary itself, and each mercenary will have their own inventory in which you can barter from. They have their own vendor, and will also, they say, seek out their corresponding talents as blacksmith, occultist, jeweler, and trusty stash holder. So now we get onto the Dark Citadel. Basically, there are raids in the game. This is a cooperative in-game PvE content that has rewards.
Seems like a lot of commitment.
They call this the Ultimate Co-op Challenge, the first of its kind in
Diablo. Maybe it'll be
4.
interesting.
In-game cooperative dungeon rewards groups of players that can best the many perils that lay within. There are 3 different wings.
Yeah, so for once, teamwork is actually going to matter to an extent. I saw a video on this where they were fighting a boss, and the boss would blast out like some big like beach ball thing, and you had to hit the beach ball thing back to the boss and make it explode because by hitting it back. So it has those sort of tactics, and there was something like, oh yeah, every player is going to have to hit the beach ball back to the boss, and then it'll explode or something like that. So they're trying to get some coordination going on here with the group. Maybe that'll be interesting. I don't know. But yeah, it reminded me of Zelda. You remember Ocarina of Time, for those of you who are boomers like me, where there was a boss who would like shoot something at you and you'd have to hit it with your sword and then it'd go flying back to the boss. It was pretty cool. In fact, don't they have that in Elden Ring as well? I'm not sure, but let's see what else he has to say about this.
Of the Citadel, and after you beat these 3 wings, there is a final boss. Now, it does seem like this is co-op only, as it says will require the efforts of your entire party. And it seems like they're adding a ping system in the game because there's a new marker system will be available to help indicate your next intended move. So they're adding like a ping system for communication.
Interesting.
There's a little screenshot of what one of the bosses looks like. Now, in terms of reward, it looks like there's going to be exclusive items. So whether that be new type of mythic uniques or something like that, we don't know. But there's going to be caches that drop resplendent
more shit to keep proud of.
No,
just kidding. That's the point, right?
And also, sort of
Find
like
more
what
goodies.
I was hoping they were going to have with the leaderboard gauntlet, for instance, they're actually having cosmetics that you can earn in-game.
Can we get some visually appealing cosmetics? This is fucking bullshit.
Upon the in-game, whatever that defines as, they don't say.
Might as well just cover these characters in blankets.
Quest at the in-game, which only needs to be completed once on your account, and then you don't. Have
I mean,
to
that
do it
the
again.
other stuff sells.
You can find allies and bolster your party through the new party
I guess they don't.
System.
It's more important than they're not trying to make money here. They're trying to send a fucking message. I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to bitch about it too much, so I better stop. But you see what I'm saying? Can we have more customization here? For our character models, for mercenaries, just the attire, just a little bit more diversity. Isn't that what they were talking about? Now, give me a hell yeah in the comments below if you guys are interested in that.
To raise arms with a party of 4. Here's what the new party finder system looks like. So you can kind of basically put up a party, a group, say what you're intending to do. You have tags here. Looks like competitive, completionist, chatty, etc. So you can sort of tag your party like you want and then find like-minded adventurers. Wow. There is also a new dungeon, which is interesting. They call it the Underbelly of Kuros, the Undercity, 2 unders there. Now, here's the thing about it. It is a multi-stage time attack dungeon, perfect for leveling towards in-game content and targeting powerful items to help you progress. Basically, you fight hordes, time limited, kill as many as you can, increases the quality of your rewards by gaining improvement while you kill these different monsters. Maybe
that'll be interesting. I don't know. What do you guys think about this stuff so far?
And you can augment these runs through the use of something called
Is this
tributes,
the game we've been waiting for?
Augment future runs to target specific rewards. Completing activities while in the Undercity collects attunement, which increases the quality of the loot after slaying one of the Undercity's all-new bosses. Higher quality tributes yield the greatest spoils, but also they raise the challenge of your next Undercity run considerably. So it seems like you run this to get geared, to get ready for the Dark Citadel, basically. Now, again, they sort of tease the leveling changes. Here, I'll just read this. Across Sanctuary, the progression updates coming with Vessel of Hatred will offer a permanent and fundamental shift in how you level and progress throughout the world. I would guess this means level 60 in an infinite Paragon system.
Yeah.
And they're probably moving towards like procedural, infinite dungeons and...
I mean, I hate to say it, but I was kind of interested in that. I made a video on this a couple weeks ago, how if they have the level cap at 60... what if they have an infinite Paragon system? But the problem is, I don't think it should be leveling based on the difficulty. Like, say, the more deep you go in the pit, the more experience you get. Because that's going to turn it into Diablo 3, where it's going to make us all run one fucking build if we want to be the most optimal. You know, that's so the way these games work is you can't necessarily have the most difficult content gating everything, because the content isn't really difficult. It's just a numbers crunch. You know, there's not much skill involved with 5 buttons on cooldown and a mouse. You know what I mean? Just clicking around. It's not an FPS. It's not a game that requires a lot of dexterity and timing. So, but Infinite Paragon, the reason it would be better than Diablo 3's Paragon is because Diablo 3's Paragon is boring. And you're forced to go down in the depths of the greater rifts to optimize your leveling, you know, so then you can only do that fucking content. But if they make experience more of just like they can blend it where, well, you could do the easier content, you just have to kill a lot of monsters fast, or you could do the harder content, and you're going to gain similar experience doing both, to where you could continually level up your Paragon, which would spawn build diversity and more options in our builds. You know what I mean? Because it's not going to force us into that content that forces you into one fucking build. So if they were to do something like that and differentiate it from Diablo 3's Paragon by having like nodes that are just more and more rare and harder to reach, then it would just be vast, and you'll always have a goal, and there'll be euphoric moments when you get to those nodes. You know what I mean? Like, there's no nodes like that in Diablo 3. It's just 5 points to intelligence, 5 points to intelligence, 5 points to intelligence, 5 points to intelligence, and you're like, oh my god, this is boring. But what if they had something like, well, you're going to zap lightning out of your eyes every 10 seconds, or a Hydra's going to spawn by you every 100 enemy kills, or something like that. You know what I mean? If they were to add more interesting things, then you would have goals to strive for in your leveling, and you would always feel like you're progressing. So it's kind of like the item depth thing that we get in Diablo 2, where there's a lot of stuff that you just never find. But the point is having more and more and more of it available that you potentially could find that keeps this game interesting. So if they were to implement that into the Paragon and have just nearly infinite things that you could grasp, but measure it out to where no one's ever going to fully max it out in a season, even if they're playing like 24/7, because that would enable the prospect of always gaining as you're playing the season. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people are like, no, Iceman, we just want to be handed everything. I want my character to have access to all the skills. I want it all to be maxed out. I want to find all the fucking items. But this is a treasure hunting game, basically. And what's the point in the treasure hunt if you find all the fucking treasure? And the point is that there's always treasure to be found. And in this case, there'll always be more power to be gained. You know, the point is ascension in these games. You got to always be ascending. And if you just get there, what you would maybe argue against this in that you're saying, well, Iceman, I want to have everything. I want my character to have all the skills. I want my character to have all the gear, just all topped out. You're not ascending anymore. You know, you're done ascending, and then the fucking chase is over. It's just done. You're finished. And then you go play another game. No, we have to continually be ascending. And that's why there has to be always these things that you could get. You know, if you play more, you're going to go up, you're going to build up to that node up there, and then the node way over there. And it's going to reward those who put time in. You know, and I think that would be interesting. If you reward those who bust their ass and put time in. I mean, that's how it's always been in games. You're like, wow, this motherfucker's a dork. He must play a lot because look at all the shit that he has. You know what I mean? It gives you that prestige and all that. But that's how it should be. And I wonder if that's what they're going to do. Give me a hell yeah in the comments below if you guys want to see that, and because I would love to see that in this game.
grinding in order to be able to have an in-game where you can push more and more and more, I would guess. Similar to the overhaul and itemization in Season 4 Loot Reborn, these permanent changes to the base game are aimed at making leveling more rewarding, putting more power in your hands. You'll be able to access deeper customization to power earlier in your character's adventure, reinvigorating the leveling journey to new heights. We'll also have more to share on August 29th. They also added these new wings into the game. There was already wings with your pre-order, but now these have these demon version of these wings as well. If you already pre-ordered, you just get them. If you haven't, this is another incentive they're adding. And then pre-purchase on Xbox, Battle.net, and get Game Pass Ultimate as well. So just a few ads here at the end of this. So quite some significant amount of changes are coming to the game. Leveling system, mercenaries, a calling in system with the mercenaries.
Here's those Audio-Technica headphones. The
Dark Citadel, which basically looks like a raid, like new co-op, mandatory co-op raid system with exclusive rewards around it. And they had to build a party finder system, both to answer what people are wanting already. People are already asking for party finder. Plus, if they're going to add mandatory co-op in the game for the most in-game content, you're going to need a party finder system. So they added that as well. There's also the new time attack dungeons with rewards related to that, which seems to be like your intermediary step between probably heading close to whatever the new level cap is, gearing up to go to the Dark Citadel. And that's pretty much it for the expansion details that we got right now. They did say August 20th.
What do you guys have to say about that? Let me know in the comments below. Check out DM's channel. I know most of you guys probably heard of him, but he's making a lot of D4 content, stuff like that. Been doing it for a minute now. And I will see you guys in my next video. Peace be with you.